last 24 hours. Powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click. Good morning. Today is Erev Shabbos Kodesh Parshas Terimu Gimel Uda Tuvshin B'Avuv. My name is Gershy Schwarcz and I'm your host on Edge. Thank you first of all to all my sponsors and thank you for all my listeners again. And if you haven't heard my message yesterday in the beginning, please go back to yesterday's news and listen to it. It's important. Okay. Soldiers from the Golani Brigade spotted 2 Islamic terrorists crossing the Yellow Line in southern Gaza. The Yellow Line is the boundary separating the army from the rest of the strip, obviously, as you know, according to the agreements. The Hamas terrorists posed a direct threat to the troops. The soldiers quickly called in an airstrike and eliminated all of them. Okay. In the northern Gaza, the army destroyed a massive underground tunnel in the city of Beit Hanun. The tunnel was over a kilometer long. Inside, well, they're still finding tunnels, I guess. Troops found multiple hideouts and stockpiles of explosives, RPGs and other weapons. Also, another RPG they found on the shore. I guess it swam ashore, and they say it is still from the October 7th attack. The Hamas terror group is holding new elections to replace their dead leader, Yahya Sinwar. Secret voting is happening right now among leaders in Gaza, Judea and Samaria, Yiddish and, of course, overseas. Reports say the 2 main candidates are Khalil Al-Hayya and Khalid Mash'al. Both men currently live in the country of Qatar. Let's see who will win the vote. A group of activists, including a member of the Knesset, crossed the border into Gaza Strip on Thursday night. The group drove in with vehicles and planted trees to show they want to rebuild Jewish towns. Soldiers quickly detained the civilians and safely brought them back to Israel before handing them back to safety to the police. The army released a statement strongly criticizing the move, saying that entering Gaza without permission puts both civilians and soldiers in serious danger. Now, before we go to Iran, let's talk about Lucky Baby, the Noah Periculous carriage. In other words, it's luxury and travel in one. It's not just travel. You don't want a stroller just to go out Shabbos afternoon in the convenience of your home. But when you travel somewhere, you have to take your travel carriage and feel, less limited, whatever. So this is a beautiful, nice, luxurious carriage with all the pitchofkas and malas. And of course, you can adjust the height on the actual thing. You can fold it all in one with one hand, the bassinet included. Good quality. Call them now to bestel yours. Okay, bestel yours. Order yours on 845-951-1600 or go to luckybaby.be. All right, that's the Noah Periculous carriage. President Donald J. Trump gave Iran a strict 10 to 15 day deadline to reach a new nuclear deal. He warned that bad things will happen, in his words, if they do not agree. Right now, the United States is waiting for Iran to send a written proposal following recent talks in Geneva. At the same time, the American military is sending more forces to the Middle East. The build-up includes the USS Gerald R. Ford, which is the largest aircraft carrier in the world. The ship and its strike groups include the destroyer USS Mahan, and as well that has just entered the Mediterranean Sea, as well other destroyers. Military experts say the group will reach the region in a few days. Speaking of destroyers, Iran also sent a destroyer into the Indian Ocean as well for some sort of operation. Operation means, preparation, exercise. In response, Iran filed an official complaint with the United Nations today. Well, I guess they can only complain. The United States can't complain that they're making exercises in the sea, but they can complain when the United States is making exercises, so to speak, in the Mediterranean and the Arabian Sea. So they filed an official complaint with the United Nations today, the UN. Iranian officials claim the threats from President Trump could cause a massive war. Really? Well, of course. What did you think? All right, you have to be a little bit Kliger to understand that your business needs Kliger. Kliger is the place to go when you want your business to grow. 845-335-3343. I just used jargon words. It didn't mean anything. So let me explain again what I meant with that, okay? You need to get all your communication systems and software all in one place, in one inbox. That's A. B, you need your system to be customized for you so that when you invoice people, sales tasks, it all should be in one place together with that communication system. WhatsApp, email, Telegram, TikTok, chat, Snapgram, I forgot already all the names of all the social media because there's so many, and this is why I just want to remember one word, and that's Kliger. 845-335-3343. Call them today. It will change your life. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer refused to let the United States use air bases in England and on the island of Diego Garcia. Reports say the British government believes a sudden strike on Iran would break international law. Listen to this. President Trump is very angry, of course, with the decision. In response, he cancelled his support for a plan to give the Chagos Islands away to the country of Mauritius. The island chain is located in the middle of the Indian Ocean. The British have controlled the area for over 200 years. The military base there is used by both American and British forces for missions across the Middle East. Some international groups say the land actually belongs to the Mauritius, it's called Mauritius. Britain wants to hand over the territory, but leased back the Diego Garcia base. President Trump says the lease is not good enough. Trump posted online that Starmer is making, quote, a big mistake. The president says the islands must stay under British control because the military base is needed to stop potential attacks from the Iranian regime. The military bases are needed to stop a dangerous regime from attacking friendly countries. He also told the UK they must remain strong in the face of wokeism, which obviously they're falling apart there. President Donald J. Trump hosted the first meeting. Well, today, Frederick Mills woke up and spoke very strongly, actually, saying that 80 years ago, this country, Germany, has been, allowing anti-Semitism rise and take over. Today, he says, it's not different. He says they're doing it again. The Gen Z of today is doing the same exact thing, and they are covering it with the rights of free speech. Well, he says such kind of free speech is not allowed and anti-Semitism should not be allowed. Yes, President Trump hosted the first meeting of his new Board of Peace in Washington on Thursday. The group plans to rebuild Gaza and bring an international security force. At the summit, the president announced that the United States is pledging $10 billion to the project. 9 other countries promised an extra $7 billion. The plan calls for 20,000 foreign soldiers to enter the area to keep the peace. However, the entire effort requires Islamic terrorists, Hamas, to completely give up their weapons. Leaders in Israel say there will be no rebuilding until Hamas terrorists are completely disarmed. Well, now they're going for votes. Arab diplomats warn this will be very difficult because the terror groups refuse to surrender their guns. Let's talk about you. Your company, you need Wine & Co. to be your corporate gifter. Well, today is the last day, my friends, because next week is already too late to bestell yours. It's not too late, you can still try, but I'm telling you now, don't wake up last minute. Today is your time to call 845 whenever you listen to this. If it's on Sunday, it's fine. But my point is 845-306-1204. They have a major, beautiful collection for your company. If you want to bestell yourself from Wine & Co., order yourself right now for your company's friends and corporate friends and even family members. Order them a nice gift, beautiful gift. They have a whole selection. You can check out the selection on wandcogifts.com. Okay, that's wandcogifts.com or wineandco2@gmail.com. 845-306-1204. Wine & Co. Now time for Schleichbonus. Okay, a judge in South Korea sentenced the country's former president to life in prison. His name is, if you can pronounce it with me, Yook Suk Yeol. Yook Suk Yeol. Nish Yoel. Okay. In December of 2024, he tried to take over the government by force. The former leader ordered the military to surround the parliament building and declared military rule. This takeover lasted only 6 hours before lawmakers voted to stop it. Prosecutors asked the judge for the death penalty. However, the court chose life sentence because nobody was killed, actually. Here is where things get a little fun just in time for Purim, my friends. President Donald J. Trump is ordering the government to release all secret files about aliens and UFOs. Listen to this. The president posted on Truth Social that he will direct the Defense Department to make the documents public. There is massive interest, obviously. This move comes after former President Barack Obama said on a podcast last week that the aliens are real. Trump spoke to reporters on Air Force One and accused Obama of leaking government secrets. Trump said, quote, he gave classified information. He shouldn't have, and he's not supposed to be doing that. He made a big mistake. The president joked that he might release the files just to get Obama out of trouble. Obama later tried to explain his comments, and he said what he meant is that it is likely that there is some life somewhere in the giant universe, but he never actually saw proof of it. That's what he said, quote. Anyway, back with me, okay, after the aliens. Well, it's a fun world we live in. You're asking if I believe in these things? Well, of course I do. Trump is tariff-ied. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court just cancelled President Trump's worldwide taxes on imported goods. Today, the justices voted 6-3 to end the tariffs the president started last year. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the decision. He said, the Constitution clearly gives Congress the power to create taxes, not the president. The government has used an old national emergency law to put the tariffs in place. But the court said that law does not allow it. The president is very angry with this ruling. He called the decision a disgrace, but told leaders he has a backup plan to bring the taxes back using different laws. Justices Samuel Alito, Clarence Thomas, and Brett Kavanaugh disagreed with the court and voted to keep the tariffs. Right now, it is not clear if the government will have to return the billions of dollars it already collected from businesses. Well, I guess businesses are kind of expecting a big payday, maybe. Or maybe not. A New York appeals court has ordered the state to redraw the map for the city's only Republican congressional district. The judges ruled that the current boundaries illegally weaken the voting power of the minorities of Staten Island and in Brooklyn. Republican Congresswoman Nicholas Nicole Maliotakis currently represents the area. Under the proposed changes, the map would drop parts of Brooklyn and take heavily democratic neighborhoods from Lower Manhattan. I mean, with these names, I think people with difficult names in those areas, particularly, should change it to more like Goldberg. I'm kidding. Why am I being? It's kind of, yeah. Political experts say this move could easily hand the seat to Democrats in the next election. Republicans have urgently asked the United States Supreme Court to block this decision, arguing that changing the lines right before election season will cause massive confusion. Of course it will. President Donald J. Trump traveled to the state of Georgia yesterday, to Rome. He visited a steel plant in the city of Rome and spoke to workers about the economy and his plans to build up American businesses. Later, the president stopped at a local restaurant where a supporter asked him for a special favor. The man handed Trump his Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. He asked the president to remove former President Joe Biden's name from the paper. Trump gladly agreed and crossed out Biden's signature. The president told the crowd that Biden used a machine, an auto pen, to stamp his name instead of signing it himself. Trump then signed his own name in big on the award and as the crowd cheered, and he left off by saying, "This is not an auto pen. Now you have a real presidential award," he said. Anyway, oil prices just hit their highest levels in 6 months. A barrel of oil is now trading over $71. Experts say the prices are jumping because of the growing military tension between the United States and Iran. The United States used up 9 million barrels of its own oil reserves last week alone. Amazon, my friends, has officially jumped ahead of past Walmart to become the biggest company in the world by sales. Walmart held a top spot for 13 years now. Well, however, Amazon reported $717 billion in revenue for the last year, 2025 alone, beating Walmart by nearly $4 billion. People are paying more and more for the convenience of being able to stay at home. Google just launched speaking of staying at home, they launched a new artificial intelligence AI tool for small businesses. It is a free feature inside their marketing program called Pomeli. The tool is called PhotoShoot. It allows a store owner to take a simple picture of a product on their phone, and an AI, artificial intelligence, turns it into a professional, studio-quality advertisement in seconds. Google says the tool is designed to help small businesses look professional without having to pay for expensive photography equipment. Speaking of AI taking over the world, but there's one thing that you cannot do, and that, my friend, is when you need to borrow money. When you need to borrow money, AI can't help you with that. So that's why you have to call YS Capital Group, because they are experts when it comes to this, and they can lend you the money, direct lending, fast approvals. Call them on 8718-831-2168. And of course, we have Protobyte. Protobyte is there for you. Speaking of AI, you think AI can take over the world? Well, you need experts to run the AI for you. It's not such an simple thing to do. You need experts for that. Yes, you think you can run AI. I had a customer call me the other day. I have it almost every single day that somebody calls me. I tried it with AI. I need you. Get it? You need the professionals. That's what we do here. Professional marketing, videos, ads, and stuff like that. But when Protobyte comes to your table, they will design you a website, a system, more than a website, it's software that is made for your company, using, obviously, sometimes AI, but mainly coding. 347-354-1237. All right, that's Protobyte. Now, Arrive Express, Rockland County, 845-622-1111, before the redistricting happens, if it does happen. I'm joking. And KJ 845-254-1111. Okay, my friends, have a wonderful and lechtige Zisa Shabbos Kodesh, and we'll see each other, Be'ezer Hashem Yisborach, next time.
Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click.